Well, hello, hello, hello. It's your girl, Sean LeRae, and we are back. You know why? Because it's Wednesday and it's time for Boss Talk. Y'all know that's bold, one of a kind, sensational superstars, and that's each and every one of you. Well, hello, y'all. Thank you. Thank you. I'm so happy to be here and so happy to see y'all. You know that it is Wellness Wednesday, and we always have to just take a moment to breathe in all the goodness and exhale all the stuff that no longer serves us. So, tonight, though, we're not going to do it yet. We're going to do it when I bring on my guest because tonight's topic merits such breath work. And they happen to be therapists as well. So I'm going to tell you right now, just take a few minutes and send out this link because you know some sisters who really need this. Anybody that you know who is brilliant and killing the game. Oh, and beautiful and killing the game. And who might every now and then be faced with some situations in their lives, in their professional lives, where they feel like their own Black excellence is just not enough. And it usually shows up in spaces where there are others who feel maybe threatened and don't quite honor the Black girl magic. How many of y'all out there in the room here today, in the chat, in the privacy of your own homes, have felt that? Have you felt that edge when you've been in the workplace and it just doesn't seem fair? It doesn't seem it just doesn't seem lovely. And you know, we get to enjoy the work that we do. We worked hard to get to the places that we have made it to, and often we don't get to enjoy that because of some feelings that others might have about our being there. And in many cases, it has more to do with their own inadequacies and nothing to do with ours. Yet, sometimes you can feel that and you take that on. And so we want to have this conversation because it's important. And I know that if I'm feeling it and some of my girls are feeling it, that many of yours might be feeling it too. So I want you to go ahead and put something in the chat. Tell us what you're thinking about that chat. And I want you to take a moment and go and spread the word. Send out this link. So let's see who's out there. Oh, well, Miss Penny has been here early. She came in to drop some love for Dr. Janak earlier. She said she can't wait to see this. Big fan of Dr. Janak. Well, you're in the right place. I know you, Penny. Cousin Penny. Hey, Dr. Daphne. Thank you for tuning in again, sis. Blessings she sends to us all. Oh, I know this guy. This is my husband. He says, "Oh, you are beautiful. I wish you could be my boss because I would love to talk to you." I would be the new boss talk. You are so silly. And yes, I am too your boss, okay? So don't get it twisted, young man. Y'all know he's always cutting up. So listen, um, I'm not seeing you all. Let me see who else is out there. I want to hear from you. I want to hear from you. But in the meanwhile, I feel like I lost something here. I got to check something. Y'all know we are live and I did do that. I think I hit a wrong button. Did I, Crystal? Because my background went away. I like my background. Y'all know I love my background. I probably hit the wrong button in trying to move quickly and doing some things. So I want to tell you about who's on tonight. And, we will find out how I know these women because I always love to share how I know people because it just is a statement to how God brings together his people in the most amazing ways. And so y'all gonna love this one. But I'll tell you about the ladies that are coming on with you tonight. So we have Dr. Lavonda Mickens. And she is a licensed clinical psychologist who has been a resident of the greater DC metro area with her spouse, daughter, and son since 2021. Dr. Mickens was born and raised in Los Angeles and has spent her career as a clinician and researcher within the field of psychology, studying trauma, mood and anxiety disorders, addiction, and racial, ethnic health disparities. She completed her bachelor's in psychology at San Diego State University and earned her MA in psychology from Pepperdine University. And she earned her PhD in clinical psychology from the University of Detroit Mercy. Hey, my neck of the woods. Dr. Mickens also completed an APA accredited internship at the Louisiana State University School of Medicine, working to improve health behavior and psychological health among trauma victims post-Hurricane Katrina. She also completed a postdoctoral fellowship funded by the National Institutes on Drug Abuse with the University of Southern California, Keck School of Medicine. So, boss talkers, without another word from me, please welcome Dr. Lavonda Mickens. Hey there.
Hey, how are you?
I am doing very well tonight. Thank you. How you doing?
Doing well. Thank you for having me.
Absolutely. Thank you for agreeing to come on. So, we'll talk about how we know one another because it's a little bit dual. We have a dual way of meeting, but we'll do that when we bring on the next guest. So, my next guest this evening is kind of family. So it's not kind of, certainly. Dr. Janak Vance is my niece. And amazingly, she is the founder and CEO of Living is Lifestyle LLC. She has dedicated her life to humanitarian and philanthropic work as a vessel to strengthen and empower people to be the proudest versions of themselves, as well as help build healthy communities. Coming from a background as a professional in the performing arts and entertainment industries, she later discovered the arts were used to guide her to emerging of passions, the behavioral arts. After receiving formal training and an undergraduate degree in theater arts with a minor in dance, she re-entered the academic world, now holding a master's in clinical psychology, MFT, concluding with a doctorate in psychology, which is a PsyD MFT, a clinical doctor of psychology. She specializes in working with adults and families dealing with dual diagnoses with a niche focus on the adult African American culture, as well as music industry professionals through evidence-based, integrative, and holistic methods. She has had the pleasure of working with human beings in all walks of life and with an array of cultures. Her ultimate goal is to journey people to become self-empowered while dually community embracing. So, y'all, without another word from me again, please welcome Dr. Janak.
Hi.
Hello, hello.
Hello. How
So,
y'all
thank
doing?
you both for joining me tonight.
Thanks for having us.
Yes.
Love it
So,
here. I love this space.
yes, you've been here before.
Mm-hmm.
So, let's talk about how we all kind of came together,
Ooh.
right? So,
Ooh.
I mentioned that Janak is my niece, and when she graduated, I went to her graduation where I met the lovely Dr. Lavonda Mickens. After her graduation, just briefly, right, and all of the celebratory hoopla that we were so excited that Janak had completed her journey and received her doctorate. So that was our brief meeting. And I think then I said to you, I'd love to have you on my podcast. And then, time goes by and things get going. And of course, Janak and I are always chatting and together. I think you guys know that I coordinated weddings. And so I coordinated the wedding of a couple that the woman is a doctorate. She has her doctorate in clinical psychology as well, and she is a professor. And one day she was talking to me and she asked me if I ever had any experience feeling some type of way, in academia as a Black woman and a Black professor. And we discussed some of the things like having students not respect you, having students question your authority and things like that. So she
Mm-hmm.
decided that she wanted to put together a Black women's professors group.
I
So
did
she
not
went out
know
to
that's how
Dr.
you
Anastasia.
two met. Oh my God.
That's
I
how we
didn't
met.
know that's how you and Dr. Anastasia met because
That's not even how. I'll tell you
oh
more.
my gosh.
Not
Okay.
even how. But then one day she was saying, I had been hearing her say, Dr. Mickens is going to join us. One day she's going to talk to us about, I think it was Black maternal health at that time. And I kept thinking that name sure sounds familiar. So the day that she was supposed to come on, I joined. And when I joined, who do you think I see but Miss Janak? And she goes, "Hi, Auntie." And I was like, "Oh, wait a
Hello.
minute." So our worlds have merged time and time again.
But wait, did you do Dr. Anastasia's wedding?
I did.
That's what I'm saying. Like, that's crazy. I didn't know that.
Yeah, well, let me tell you how we got there. I was at the so I met her first through her husband because he found me on social media during the pandemic and invited me to be on a panel
Okay.
about mental health through the Ash Academy. And so I joined the panel. And the
Mhm.
second time I did it, Dr. Anastasia was on there. And at that time, I don't think she had completed her doctorate. And I was in school at the time doing mine. So we chatted and I kept trying to hire her. And so we were supposed to talk about that and we kept missing one another and it never got to happen. So then I go to the annual CAMFT conference. That's the California Association of Marriage Family Therapists. And I go into this room to see this young Black woman talk about ADHD. And, throughout the program, I'm raising my hand and I'm standing up and I'm talking. And afterwards, this guy turns around and he goes, "Hey, Sean LeRae, I thought that was you." And I look and he goes, "Sammy." And I was like, "Sammy, what are you doing here? Are you a therapist now?" He goes, "No, I'm here with Anastasia." And I
Oh
look and he
my God.
goes, "Anastasia, I met you on." She goes, "Yeah." I go, and then I look baffled and they go, "We're engaged."
How cute. That's such a cute story.
Isn't it? And then I told them, I said, "Oh, I used to coordinate weddings. I love weddings." And they looked at each other and then they go, "You want to do this one?" And
Aw.
there you have it. That is how we came together.
I think we lost Dr. Lavonda.
I think we did, but I think she's working on it back there, maybe with
Oh,
she'll work it out with Crystal and she'll get
yeah.
back on it.
Okay.
And Dr. Lavonda has two beautiful babies who
I
might need
know.
attention every now and then. So
I know. They are adorable.
they are so cute. There she is.
Back.
She's back with the cute hair that I'm gonna steal.
Okay.
We love the cute hair.
The
And
vibe is killing me. That's what it is. Huh?
we'll have to talk a little bit about that as well.
Yeah. Very relevant, right?
I'll take off my glasses so I can see y'all better. So that's how we all kind of came together. And I love that, the space, the world is huge, but the spaces of his people and just great women are small, and they come together
Yeah,
all
it's so divine. Yeah.
overlapping. But I want to handle a thing here, because I do call this Wellness Wednesdays when we come together here. And it's because it's hump day, and it's the time that we all need to kind of wash off Monday, Tuesday, and get ready for Thursday, Friday. And here at Boss Talk, we live for the weekend. So let's do a little mindful breathing for a second, because this is a heavy topic, as we can all attest to, right? So let's breathe in a little bit. So let's do box breathing. Y'all know what that is. Naki, you want to lead it?
No, I'm not leading anything. I'm here as a guest. No.
All right, Mel, we'll do that. So we're going to do 4 in, hold for 4, exhale for 4. We're going to do it 4 times. And audience, my people, hey, Marva. Oh, my childhood friend is here in the audience.
Hi,
hello, darling.
Hi, Marva.
Good to see you. Good to see you indeed. Thank you for tuning in. She FaceTimed me today, and I was in supervision with one of my therapists, so I couldn't jump on, but she had another childhood friend with her, and they were out to lunch or dinner. I love it. All right. So we're going to breathe in for 4. We're going to hold for 4, and we're going to exhale for 4. And we're going to do that 4 times.
All
So
right.
ready? Let's inhale through the nose, 3, 4, and hold it. 2, 3. Exhale. 2. Let's inhale and hold it. And exhale. Now count it for yourselves. Breathe in through your nose. This last time on the exhale, please give it sound, breathing in. Yes. Now at home, just shake it off a little bit. Shake your shoulders, shake your shimmy, y'all. All right. Let's see who else is out here with us tonight. D. Williams, they say there's 6 degrees of separation, but nowadays it's 2 to 3.
That's hi, cousin.
Absolutely, D.
I have to tell you about her. She was my roommate at Prairie View A&M. She was my family. She became literally my family at PVA. I didn't have any family or anything out there in Texas. And I swear, and we look alike. So I swear.
That's beautiful.
Yeah, and she was the best roommate you could ever dream of while in college. And like her family, they're my auntie, my uncle, my cousins, we are family. So that's who that is. And she's amazing. She's a boss in her field as well, so she needs to be here.
We'll get her on here sometime. And listen, Dee, you and I might be cousins, girl, because my maiden name is Williams. I don't know. And Kenneth Cunningham, hey there, another childhood friend from, let's see, I think I met Kenneth in the 6th grade. We all way back. Thanks for joining, darling. He says, great job. Oh, she says, I love it.
I love her. I'm obsessed with Dee, so.
I love it. And where in Texas is Dee now?
She's in the Houston area.
Okay.
Like suburbs around the Houston area. Yeah.
My bestie is originally from Houston, did 30 years in Cali, and is now 1 year in Austin.
Oh wow, okay.
Yeah, when she does events in Houston, and she has to do her book signing there, so we'll get them together.
Nice.
You know Chantel Denise.
I'm pretty sure.
Who else is here?
Janera is here. You've met Janera too.
I have.
Yeah, different events and stuff. This is my sis.
I think I met her at your birthday. Was she at your birthday?
Probably. She's been at all kind of stuff. Larry's stuff. She's at everything.
She says hello. I'm so excited. Well, let's go. So, as I said, Dr. Lavonda is going to be coming in and out, y'all. So we'll catch her. But let's get started talking about this. So, Janak, why don't you tell us a little bit about your journey, and what made you pursue your PsyD in clinical psychology?
Goodness, and it's been a long journey, and in a great way. I'll call it more of a self-discovery journey than yes, it's folded into professional, but mostly this has been a personal journey. You know, as well as a lot of people know that my background is in theater, film, and dance. And mom put me in dance class at 2, and I never left. So that prompted me to actually be an early starter, being employed in the industry as a kid, basically, and then deciding that I was going to go ahead and pursue it academically, going and getting the degrees in my undergraduate studies. But I did not realize in all of this really intense training that I was going through when it came to acting, that most of my classes were about behavior and, you know, how we function emotionally, mentally, and of course, all the physical elements that come with it, you know, staging and et cetera. But I didn't realize how much I was really studying the art of behavior. And so it was a Juilliard professor that I was in 2 years with that I will never forget. I was like 20 years old and, you know, still green to a lot, obviously, as I should have been. And he told me, paraphrasing, but he told me that you are excellent at breaking down characters. Your character analysis skills are out of this world. And he's hard. Anybody know anything about Juilliard professors? They're like, you know, and so I was like, oh my God, that's awesome, you know? And I took it, but I didn't know that it was a seed being planted. And I call that the God shot, right? And so when that seed was planted, I had a scholarship to get a master's in theater, but I was like, I have no interest in being a professor in theater. Like, I'm about to go out here and do my thing. You know, academia wasn't a big focus for me in the first place. 10 years later, it was literally like God just like knocked me in the head and was like, guess what? You're supposed to be in the psychology world. Go ahead and be a therapist. And so within a month of that insight, I had applied and gotten into school, entered my master's program where Dr. Lavonda was one of my professors that I truly fell in love with.
Absolutely.
Yes.
And being your chair, right, for your doctorate?
Yes.
Is that right?
Yes, she did. But she's also who planted the seed for me to even go to doctor. I never saw myself as someone on anybody's doctoral level. Not that I didn't think I was smart. That academia just seemed like it wasn't my thing. And I found out it was when it came to something that I was passionate about. So that's why I said that it was more personal than it was professional. I think at this point, it was just me needing to nurture what God had already planted in me. That's it. And so that's what made the journey a lot more fulfilling. Very, very hard, but it wasn't as difficult academically as I thought it would be because there was a connection.
Sure.
Because the credentials they're important, yes, in terms of being educated and seasoned, but they're not defining for me. Never have been. Like, I could care less about that, you know, if you will, how many letters you have behind your name. It's really about how you are as a person. And so anyway, it really was a journey of me just nourishing and nurturing what was already there.
Yeah. You know what I love about it too is that there are, you know, children and young adults who need mentoring, who you come into spaces with, and who may not think that academia is their thing.
Yeah.
But in recognizing that when you find your passion, it can be your thing. And so that's them to look at that and be like, okay, so maybe I just didn't like math or English or whatever.
Right. Exactly.
Else, because I've always been a people person. And
Yes.
school was never hard for me, but with the ADHD that I didn't know I had,
Gotcha.
I was looking out the window and doing all kinds of other things. And I would get the good grades, but I was always cutting up in school. So they were always calling my parents, hello, Mr. Williams.
She moving around too much. She talking too much. What's she doing?
Too much what is really going on. And my father, but I thank God every day in the ancestors for Gene and James Williams, because they never made it my problem. They were like, I don't know, we don't do that at home. We keep her busy. What y'all gonna do?
Right,
And
if
so
they can't handle it, too bad. Too bad
yeah,
for them.
but there are a lot of children who don't get that. And
Yeah.
that's why it's important that they see faces that look like them and that get them. And so thank you for sharing that.
Absolutely.
So Dr. Lavonda, tell us a little bit about your journey and what made you decide to do this psychological thing.
Oh my goodness. Times. Let me just put this here. Thank you guys. First of all, I think you may have mentioned that I'm from the greater DC area. So that means that the hour is like my kids, or it's like witching hour. They're like, one time I was watching an interview with Chris Rock talking to Oprah, and he was like, Oprah, racism is getting ready to die. You know how I know? Because if you ever seen kids before they go to sleep, they're crazy. And so like that's like right now in my house.
Oh, so that's what's happening. Okay. We are with you.
By the way. Okay. So let's just hope racism is getting ready to die. And we're here for all.
Come on. Snaps.
We got
They're adorable though. So if that helps.
I first of all, I'm okay, so I'm a first generation college student. Which is a really, really big deal for many reasons. And I didn't know, like, I grew up in LA, but I'm from LA, not from Hollywood. I say that to people all the time.
Yes. Will you make that distinction,
LA,
please?
that.
Me too. Amen.
Right. So, like, my parents were born in the South, in Alabama and Arkansas, and then they migrated over to California, and they grew up as next door neighbors, which is how we wound up, wound up here. So, I knew that I had an opportunity to do something different very early, because I was the first child on both of my parents' side. I was like the oldest of like 30 cousins, and we all grew up like they knew each other, my mom's side, my dad's side, growing up. And so I remember, this sounds really wild, but I remember being 7 years old, looking up and going like, why are people like this?
Yeah.
And it just never, it was always interesting to me. Why are people like this? And so high school was kind of like whatever, but the second I stepped into San Diego State, I felt like, oh, this is the world. This is thinking and learning and growing. And also the fact that I was first generation mattered because it taught me that it was okay to be scared. It's okay to be scared. What I learned about myself is be scared and do it anyway.
Yep.
Because otherwise you don't know.
Yep.
So the first class that I took was a summer school class, and the professor came up and she started talking about thought questions. And I thought, you mean I could just sit here as a career and think about, like, I could just sit here and think about things? It was like, oh, this is it. This is it. I'm it.
I'm home. I love
that. Be in my fantasy land and then talk to other people about what I'm thinking and know what they're thinking about why they do the things they do. And we can stay with this all day.
Yes. She is describing our world. I love it.
But
what you say? I missed that last part.
What's that?
I said I missed the very last part.
Oh, sometimes, if you just start talking about thoughts without like making a plan, it can feel like it's not very productive. But most of the time, if you let yourself get into the conscious thought and develop a thought, it's like a rich playing ground. So, San Diego State to Pepperdine, as mentioned, and then to University of Detroit Mercy. And I just kept going and going and going and going. And what I noticed was being one of one, right? The only Black woman or Black person in class many times over. People assuming that, oh, why are you here? I had my very first class in the PhD program at University of Detroit Mercy. Another student, there were 9 of us there starting the PhD program. A white male asked, "Oh, you're smart." Like as a, I know. Cookies. You want cookies?
I want cookies too.
Telling me too.
Cookies are my favorite.
Right.
Hi,
want
Phoebe.
cookies. Okay, Amara,
Hi.
cookies. Amara, get Bryce cookies,
I'm
please.
so in love with them. Oh my gosh.
This is like
I ain't mad at it. You do what you got to do, girl. Keep them babies lovely.
Amara, can you help mommy? Do you want privileges? No. Can you get Bryce a cookie? It's gonna be so. No. It's not. Can you please help me? Yeah. It's like a maybe.
D wants cookies too.
I know.
Yes. Cookies
Let's
for
see what
all.
else they're saying out there.
Yeah.
Kenny said, yes, but super personality, everybody loves you. Oh, thank you. Yes, since 6th grade, he's known me.
So to answer your question, that's a little bit of my journey to psychology. And then after bouncing all around to do the PhD program and then the pre-doc at LSU, I wound up back in California at USC. And after I finished the postdoc there is when I started at the Chicago School. And then I met Truly and yours other Truly and family. Sometimes I say with Black people, there's 1 degree of separation. People
I'm
are
trying
like,
to tell you.
No.
I won't be surprised if we cousins. I swear for goodness.
Okay.
I swear for goodness.
But I love that. And, you know, it's funny because I came into my journey very late. But as I look back, it's very similar to, of course, Jen Knox, because I was very academic in school. My undergrad major was politics, English. Field of study was pre-law, politics and English, double major, minor in French, and pre-law was my field of study. And we all thought she's going to be an attorney. And then and then I won a beauty pageant, right? And so started doing the music thing and all of that. And law school was the furthest thing from my mind at that point. And I knew that I didn't really fit in corporate America. I tried it. It just didn't work. So I was getting fired or quitting everywhere I was going. I've been fired from some of the best places in America. And I've quit some of the other best places. And, you know, as I landed, everything I did was pretty much self-employed. I made up jobs, and I love that part of my life that I've gotten to do that. I've gotten to do the music. I've gotten to do the dance. I still get to do the music. And I get to really incorporate all of that in a clinical sense and make it make sense to people, make it stick for them. And so I could not be more thrilled with where I get to be in my playing field right now in this clinical space that we incorporate music, dance, movement, joy, just joy, and helping people understand that in the middle of all the turmoil, the trauma, the background, the abuse, all of that, there is a seed of joy that if you just plant it and nurture it with wellness, it will grow and lead you right back to where God intended for you to be in the first place. So that's kind of been my journey. And I didn't start that part or this part of my journey, the clinical psychology part of my journey, until I was 50 years old when I went back to get my master's. And I am still doing that doggone doctorate. I start back in April, y'all. So
amazing.
Yes, that's for all of you out there who might be thinking that it's too late to do whatever that thing God has put on your heart. It's never too late.
That's right.
Never at all. Let's see. We got some more comments out here. Dee says, as a mom with a young kid, I totally understand and can appreciate seeing your kid be a part of the call too.
Right.
Absolutely.
And that's why he comes back talking about, you know, balancing that as well.
Yes,
like, how is she doing that now? Because when I met her, When you met her with me, she didn't have kids, nor was she married.
Wow.
Yeah.
Wow. That is so
Yeah,
cool.
think about it. That was 2017.
Yeah.
These are little ones. So
Yeah. That's
yeah.
right. 6 and 3. So yeah.
And it just speaks to how, like, yes, any of us in whatever our respective professions are, like, life still goes on. We're still people.
Mm.
We still have our personal lives, our personal affairs, and we should be tapping into that. Like, we shouldn't have to completely do away with what our aspirations are as women
Mm-hmm.
for the
Yeah.
sake of the profession alone. And I think sometimes being what you call the bosses, or being professionals, or even executives, or whatever it is, as a Black woman in this field, we are often challenged to forego that for the
Mm.
sake of being married to the job, where that's not always what's required of other people who are not Black women, but
Exactly.
it's required
That
from us.
that is a real talk, as they say. Let me see what Dr. Daphne says. She says, I'm responding to your initial thought. I believe the core of our authentic value and honor should come from our belief systems, our family, and our communities. However, we tend to limit how much we pour into each other when we are in the process of building, when it matters the most. Oftentimes, we tend to lean toward creating our own self-building techniques. And in doing so, we weaken many sincere relational bonds. Bottom line, we have the propensity to, I miss,
I
we
think
have
it
the
cut.
propensity to,
Yeah, stop.
I think it stopped her. Well, continue that thought, Dr. Daphne, because I like it. It's powerful.
Yeah,
And it's so true. And that leans into what we're talking about when we talk about the community and how we connect and how we stay. We have a group, y'all. It's called the Black Women Professors, what do we call it, meetup. And it is a safe space for us to talk about all the things that we get to do in
yeah,
the spaces and what that looks like, from the excited, amazing side and from the side where it's not feeling good today. And
right.
we need to have a place where we can pour that, because we all day, every day, we're pouring into others in our profession. Young mom, you're pouring into those beautiful babies and your husband and other family, perhaps your job, because you have a day job and you do private practice. Is that right?
Well, as of probably, next week, yes. But I thought you were talking about the day job and the
The job of being a parent.
yeah, the
Well,
night,
that part, yes.
because
That's
they're
an
like,
all day job. That is not a night job.
24/7 job.
Right.
they're like, what you gonna do for me? What you gonna
Yeah, what have you done for me lately?
um I've had a lot of intense jobs. Um and some more than others. When someone mentions like the Pentagon, for example, that is pretty clearly like stands out as like that's some intense stuff. And it was. Um, but to be honest, it felt so meaningful and purposeful that it was great. And I feel that way about parenthood. The challenge, though, and I heard Dr. Janak mentioning, when we met, there was no husband, there were no kids, none of this. The challenge is the lack of fairness and the large expectations for Black women with, half as many resources if we're actually being generous. And sometimes it's not half as many resources, but it's definitely twice as hard sometimes for half as much. So I think that that's the challenge for me, because I see that Black women are the carriers of culture for a lot of people and a lot of things, and have been for a long time.
Yep.
So if you're a descendant of slaves in this country, which many of us are, I am, then
Mhm.
you know that that comes with having to every day at any moment leaving your own children to make sure other people's children and crops
Yes.
and valuables are okay. So when you do that and you have a heart, which we do, and we are community oriented, which we are, then you are always doing this and this and this. You know, like one of my intense jobs right now, I work for the Department of Veterans Affairs. If any of you know about what's happening with federal workers in the DC area and around, you know, we are, Black people understand, we are clearly being discriminated against. People are like, you are not doing enough for the country, so we can just take your job. It's just these right now. And that doesn't stop the meaningful work when veterans come in and say, hey, I need help. Like I have a stack day. I had a stack day today. I'm going to have a stack day tomorrow. If it weren't for me, I would not do it. But it is very much consistent with what Black women know to be true at seasons and phases of life, is that you are just put on the front lines and expected to care for often. Many of you know that Black women are much more likely to earn advanced degrees compared to our counterparts. And we're much more likely to receive less in all the ways, all the way down to birth care. So that's my other serious passion, making sure that Black women especially receive fair treatment, fair and good, healthy treatment in the birth process.
Mm-hmm.
It is real. And I will tell you, you all know, you know Cedars-Sinai. If you're in LA, speaking of Boston, everyone who's like, who wants to deliver or get something done in LA, there's like one or two hospitals that people always say, I want to go here. It's like Cedars-Sinai, UCLA, maybe USC. Okay. So I delivered my daughter at USC. Someone told me to introduce myself as Dr. Mickens because they would see me as valuable or different. And I did. I thought it was awful to have to do that. And I did. And I still got a drug test. Okay.
Wow.
So I am not interested in the games of like, oh, there's no racism. We need to get rid of DEI. We need to just start up. I'm not interested in that. I am fully here and fully present to make sure that every Black person I come into contact with knows that they're valuable. Because I understand the machine that is driving against our not interested. So.
Yes. And so imagine, I can't imagine the work that you do with the Department of Veterans Affairs, watching people be sent home on the regular and having this feeling of, will I be one of those?
Am I next? Yeah.
Next. And still being asked to do great work, which because that's in you. You know what I mean? It's in us. It's what we do. It's how we show up. We wake up like this. You know what I mean? And so we come out and we do this work. I work with veterans in my practice. A man broke down crying the other day, just bawling because of what is happening in this country to veterans. And some of these people did not expect that this was going to be their story, that it would not happen to them. And it is happening every day. I can attest to it. A grown man broke down in my office because of what's happening in this country to people who have given their lives and sacrificed their family relationships, their health, their physical bodies. Some of these people, men and women, are in pain 24/7. And some of them were not getting shot up and all of that. It is some of the things, it's just the work they had to do, carrying loads.
It's the culture. It's the culture of it.
Yes. And it's just maddening to consider that. And then to be questioned as a Black clinician doing this work, to have fences put up that where other women walk through, others walk through, gates wide open, and I have to explain myself, and I have to show credentialing and talk more, talk my way in when my work speaks for
Speaks
itself.
for itself. No, seriously. Yeah.
I know that you've had this many, many times, and I'm so
Unfortunately.
excited having this conversation in um, during International Women's Month,
Yeah.
because there are so many examples that have come before us that we
Yeah.
can speak about in this. And by the way, if you're out there in the chat, please go ahead and put in the chat the name of a woman in your life who made an impact, and give them a shout out.
That's good.
And then share this video with them, because we want to appreciate all of our women and all the ways that women, and particularly Black women, create to making every space better. Because here
Absolutely.
you are deeply loved and valued.
I think
Yes.
it's super important to highlight us this month and the months after, and
Mhm,
especially in the climate that we're experiencing today, um, because
mhm,
we're expected to still, in speaking even more specifically in the field of psychology, as Black women, Black clinicians, Black what they deem as experts in psychology, to deal with all of the mess that's out there, to deal with all of the essentially abuse that we deal with on a daily, while still holding space for people to come to us with their woes, to come to us. Um, what I mean by that, for the people who are against having us in these professional spaces, we are still expected to still hold space for those people.
mhm.
And that can be very, very challenging, because there's still that expectation of the Black woman to be the nurturers um, in this world. I mean, we can go historically, how we were, set up to take care of people's babies, heck, breastfeed people's babies, you know, and as metaphorically, that's kind of what we're expected to do now. I was having a conversation recently about some of my more recent experiences in the work field and climbing in the work field and becoming directors and executives, senior executives in certain positions. And it's like a lot of these people are superiors in, in our positions, or people that are in even higher positions, above us. They have this pet to threat relationship with us. It's like
Mhm.
love bombing still exists in the workspace when it comes to us. It's the coaxing, it's the you're beautiful, it's the you're so smart. Oh, you have a lot to offer to us, and give us information, give us information, give us information. What I'm noticing, and this is not for everyone, right? This isn't every experience with
Mhm.
those who are not Black women. However, some of these experiences are more common with us that we experience. And like I said, I have recently been experiencing that even more so. The higher that you climb in your respected positions or professions, these are some of the things that we are not necessarily told that we may face. That sometimes people see us as, okay, yeah, you have the credentials, yeah, you have all of the things, so give us the information. Like, we're still expected to nurture people's positions, nurture, educate them while still being abused in the same
Yeah.
space.
Yeah.
Um,
And we're expected to give them the information and let them take it where it needs to go. Let them bring it
exactly,
to the forefront.
exactly. And it's very disheartening. And that's why I think it's important that we have these platforms to talk about it, because if it's passion and purpose, don't let nobody steal that. Like, that's not theirs to take at all. Like, it has
Mhm.
nothing to do with them. You were the ones gifted with that. You were the ones that had those seeds planted. And 9 times out of 10, they see that. They
Sure.
see that. This is why they're trying to infiltrate in that area. Um, so yeah, like it's to learn that it's more of us Black women than not that are experiencing this is the thing that has become more heartbreaking for me. Because the more, hey, handsome, because yeah, the more you climb, the more you're going to experience these things. And this is not to discourage people from climbing in your respected areas. It's just know that it's worth talking about, and it's worth getting a community like we have with the Black, women professors meetup.
Yeah.
Like, we have a container for that. You've got to find a container.
Absolutely, absolutely. And of course, we have our therapists, our own therapists that we get to pour
Yeah,
our stuff into.
right. With your therapist. 'Cause
Yes, yes. I am every 2 weeks go down to the fourth floor and see Eve Marie of Eve's Place of Peace. Thank you very
yes,
much.
yes.
It's so important. It's so important.
I don't think he knows he's my
You
nephew.
know, that's the rest of her statement was propensity to look at those who will deliver what we need for growth and survival, period. And she says, we are losing loyalty, heritage, and true sisterhood. She also said that her mother, the late Ruby D. Burleson, was a very firm foundation.
Nice.
And I can attest to having the importance of having that foundation. And then for our sisters who don't have or did not have that kind of foundation behind them, that's where we come in.
Yeah.
And I am excited to say that I have joined the Elders Club as of February 21st.
Hey.
And I am happy to be in that space. It is such an honor to be able to be a part of the sapient, as my husband told me this word today, the sapient, which is a person who brings about wisdom and imparts wisdom. And so I am so thrilled to be a part of that community and to be able to do that and share that and use this platform to do that and share what has been poured into me, because it's important. And I just really want to shout out Dr. Stasia and Dr. Jasmine, who are not able to be with us tonight, who are the other two members of the Black Women Professors Collective. I like that. And it's been a beautiful space, and I'm so grateful to her for creating that space, and number one, for bringing us all together in this way, but also for just giving us that container, that space, and just for having the ingenuity and genius to come forward with that and ask the questions, because sometimes, thank you, Dr. Daphne, but sometimes we have an idea and we sit on it.
Yeah.
And I love that she made the move, so I really want to lift her up for that and that kind of thing. And I think, when Dr. Lavonda, now you have also been in academia. You were Janak's instructor. And what can you share about that realm and this
what that felt like? Yeah. She said, "Give her 1 second."
Give it a minute. He
said he got stuff to do.
Okay. When she comes back, we'll get to hear about that.
Yeah.
I was teaching at a school in Pasadena, which shall remain nameless, because and I just had the experience of being questioned all the time.
Of course.
Undermined by even the students, some of them, not all of them, because many of them loved me and loved what we were doing, but many of them did not like being taught by a Black woman. And some of them were men, and many of them were older students, because like myself, they had discovered this as part of their journey later in life. And so they saw me as a peer, and of course they didn't feel comfortable being taught by a Black woman who was in the same realm of life that they were in. And
however, they expect to be respected when they complete it.
Exactly.
Interesting.
Exactly. But I think it was just like, you're my peer and you're Black, so why would I listen to you?
That's so crazy. Like, when do we unravel that? You know what I'm saying? When do we get rid of that? Because there are plenty of peers in my life that I respect, not just them as a person, but I respect their level of work. That has nothing to do with it's so annoying. So annoying.
It is. Yes, it is insane. Now let's see who's out here. Brother Alan Shea says, Dr. Alan Shea, foundation is the key for preserving the best of future generations, health, relationships, and keeping family well. That is why I love my beautiful Black sisters. Well, we
Well, we
love
love you too,
yes,
Dr. Alan Shea. We love you.
yes. Dr. Allen is a politician and many, many, many other things. He works in the entertainment industry. He has sat on a panel for the first Dating from the Soul that I did, and he also is a community liaison in Pasadena and LA as well, in the surrounding areas.
I love it.
It's pretty amazing. Well, ladies, we are running out of time. I'm so sad. So we
That's so
definitely
sweet. We need to do a part two on
we
this for
to do a
sure,
part two.
and really
Absolutely.
get into like some of our experiences because this is good. I love it.
Yes, because you and I have our shared story with a music situation
Come
uh,
on.
that we had the opportunity to work with, and yeah, that
Yeah.
part. So we'll talk more about that later. But there are so many things, and I want to get into not just the problem, but some of the solutions
Yeah.
that we can come up with. And part of it we're doing right now is, number one, talking about it,
Mhm.
supporting one another, and I think that is very key. So, ladies, I always ask my boss talk guests to leave some nuggets for the boss talkers. So, what? Maybe take 20 seconds and give us some nuggets that you would like to leave my boss talkers with tonight.
Well, I will just say, based off of this particular topic, get really grounded into what is designed for you. If this is a gift that you know that is yours, hone that. People are going to always challenge you. Even in my difficult situations, what I was still able to walk away with was not about so much pride, but just knowing that my purpose still stands regardless if I am accepted or rejected, that it's mine, it's designed for me. So really get grounded and hone in on what is for you, um, and become empowered in that. Um, Try not to be shaken. You may feel broken a couple of times, but you're not broken. Feeling it and being it are two different things. So really, the biggest thing takeaway I would say that I would want to impart is to really get succinct and connect it with your purpose and connect it with the gift that has been given to you, because it's yours wherever you go.
Mm-hmm. Love that. Love that. Dr. Lavonda, drop them nuggets.
Thank you guys so much for your patience tonight. I have so much going on here.
This is perfect. You have life. This is
This is
perfect topic. This
true.
is real.
The first nugget is sometimes it doesn't have to be pretty. It just has to get done.
Yeah, that.
If it's not a black, is a black woman knows how to do that. I don't know who knows how to do it if we
Come
don't
on. We're
know
almost too good at it.
it done. So we're like, hey, I want to be in this awesome podcast. And I also want to try to get my kids to settle down. And I also this and 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 that. Okay. So that's the first one. But the nugget that I want to share is related to Dr. Allen reminded me of this. So we talked a lot about Black women tonight, and I will continue to always talk about Black women. And his comment reminded me when he said health, it reminded me of something I heard on a podcast because I love them, obviously. You know, the question was, what is the most revolutionary thing that a Black man can do?
Love us.
I know. Well, I'm not going to disagree. So we've got the greats like Dr. Martin Luther King Jr., Malcolm X, and all of the greats. And so that's like people that we know who are in our history books, and we're so grateful for them. But I will never forget this. And I shared this with my brother-in-law, with my both brother-in-laws, husbands, everybody I could think of that day. The most revolutionary thing a Black man can do is to live a long life.
Mm,
Mm.
yes, I love that.
With that life, you share your knowledge, wisdom. You break open this whole thing about not living long and having the shortest lifespan. you are here to support your Black women and community so that it happens to take a little bit less, maybe, or we have your support, we have you there. So I will actually say, hey, Black men, live a long life with us. Keep going.
I love it.
Yes, I love
And I
that.
want that shirt, actively Black.
Oh, this company is from LA. Okay, so they give to. I'm wearing it on purpose. Former basketball player. I don't. I'm not a spokesperson or anything, but it's great active wear. It's great for like yoga, fitness, wearing, lounging around the house, and every dollar. They put their money where their mouth is. They donate to HBCUs.
I
Mm.
They
need this.
so he's the guy that has the shirt that says Black women are superheroes.
Uh,
Okay.
Trouble for that because some people got mad because they were like, we don't want to be superheroes, but it's
I'm
like
with you.
what?
I'm with you on that.
I love that. I love it. Love it. I
Repping
love
today.
this.
Thank you, Desra.
Well, thank you, ladies, for being on with us tonight. And thank you to all my lovely guests, Kenneth and Dr. Daphne and Dee and my husband. And let's see who else. Dr. Allen, my brother, and Penny. And let's see. I said Dee.
Hi.
I'm going to mess her up. John Ray.
Janira.
Janira, and our young man here, our handsome male spokesperson,
Bye-bye.
and Marva, my sister Marva.
That's
Thank
my
you
nephew right
for
there.
tuning in tonight, y'all. And we are so excited. So you can connect with Dr. Janak at her website, drjanakliving.com, and her Instagram is at
subscribe.
Dr. Janak. And then we put up Dr. Lavonda. You can connect with her too, not at Janak's website, but at her LinkedIn. On her LinkedIn is Lavonda Mickens PH-D, and then some numbers back there. So reach out and let's continue this conversation, ladies. But for now, you boss talkers know that you can connect with me. And sign up for Take It Up a Notch Spa Day at the Relax Spa in Burbank coming up in May. And if you need some coaching, holler at your girl at livinglovedcoaching.com. If you need therapy, livinglovedhealing.org. And Facebook, you can find me at Living Loved Healing. Same on Instagram. And don't forget, if you know people who need low-cost therapy, please support my nonprofit, the William Joseph Brinkley Center for Cultural Affirmation. And
thank you, Penny, my sis. Go sis. Go sis. Go sis.